Are you looking to get on the road to your dream career? You're in the right place. Welcome to the Mentor Select Podcast with your host, Derek Phillips. Always stay up to date on social media at Mentor Select and online at mentorselect.com. Here's your host of the Mentor Select Podcast, Derek Phillips.
Welcome back to episode 29 of the Mentor Select Podcast. We're one away from cracking the 30 episodes barrier. So I'm truly excited about that. And last week I shared with you all that we crossed the 2,000 downloads milestone. So we keep growing and really making an impact. So I'm truly thankful for all the guest mentors and all of the listeners out there who are making it all possible. I love it. I love it. Well, this week has been just another training week for me in terms of getting ready for this marathon. My marathon is next Sunday. So I'll be running at 26.2 miles. So I'm truly looking forward to that. Training for a marathon is a full-time job. It takes a lot of miles to put in for you to be ready to cross that finish line. But that's just like in life. We have to put in that mileage to be ready to walk in our purpose, to be ready to truly change the world. It doesn't happen overnight. You have to be patient, put in that time, and run your miles. But it's all been fun. I'm embracing the process. It's just empowering to know that you have the mental and physical strength to just accomplish anything that you set your mind to. So that's why it's so important to set goals and make sure you stick to them until you accomplish them. See it to the end, because that's going to give you that confidence in your abilities. So you really just can't put a price on that. But as far as the podcast goes, if you have not had opportunity to like, subscribe, or review the Mentor Select Podcast on iTunes or whatever platforms you listen, be sure to do so, because it's very important in terms of growing the Mentor Select community. Just getting that awareness out there, and also letting me know that you are getting some type of value from the quality virtual mentorship that the podcast is providing. I really appreciate our guest mentors who are volunteering their time to share their story with you and also give you guidance and tips on how you can follow your passions, how you can be fulfilled in your career. So we truly appreciate that. Today, I have the great fortune of interviewing a remarkable young man who goes by the title of high school college entrepreneur. I'm sure that's not something you may be familiar with, that term, but he's going to explain it. But Kendyll Locke is a really impressive young man. He has been an entrepreneur since age 14, and he's been running his business officially for the past 2 years. He just has a lot of aspirations. He's doing a lot in his community, his church, politics, you name it. Kendyll has a lot going on. In addition to being a high school student, he's also taking college classes. I mean, his resume goes on and on and on. So don't be fooled by his age. He certainly has a lot of life experience and practical tips to help you market and grow your business. So let's get to the interview. Welcome to the Mentor Select Podcast. How are you, Kendyll?
I'm doing well. How are you?
I'm doing great. I'm glad to have you. You're officially the first high school student that we have on the podcast, so I'm extremely excited.
Yes, sir.
As our audience members are going to find out, you're not your typical high school student. You have a lot going on, so looking forward to getting into that. So, Kendyll, on the Mentor Select Podcast, we'd like to get to know our guest mentors a little better. Could you tell us something that most people don't know about you? It's a fun fact.
Okay. One of the things that a lot of people do not know about me is that I am a 16-year-old college entrepreneur.
College entrepreneur, what does that mean? That's not a common term you hear every day.
So when I say college entrepreneur, basically I have my own business, which is KD Socialhouse Maintenance. So that's a marketing and advertising agency. And then I also am enrolled in an early college high school. So with the early college high school program, it allows me to be enrolled in my regular high school, well as college classes, to where when I graduate with my high school diploma, I'll also receive my associate's degree from Tarrant County College.
That's awesome. What year you'll be graduating?
2020.
Class of 2020. Okay.
Yes, sir. Class of 2020.
All right. Making me feel old. All right. 2020. Great. Can you tell us more about your business? How did that all come about?
So KD Socialhouse Maintenance, like I said, a full-on marketing and advertising firm agency. Basically, my main goal within the business is to build businesses into dynamic brands, and to basically move those entrepreneurs from a place of being unknown, feeling unknown, to being a well-known, established business owner. Because one of the things that a lot of people don't know is that an entrepreneur and a business owner are two different things. So that's something that's completely different. A business owner is when you're actually operating a business of systems. Whereas a entrepreneur is more of you're kind of just testing the waters a little bit. You're testing the waters as well as doing something that you love, but you haven't actually fully turned that into a system. And so those are the things that I don't like to really focus on that, but I want to be able to turn you into a full-on business system. And I do that with the different services that I provide, the different marketing strategies. So some of those include social media management, website development, email marketing, public relations, really anything that you could think of that relates to marketing and advertising.
Okay. Yeah, it's certainly a big deal now, especially for older people that haven't grown up with social media. That's something they struggle with a lot. So.
Yes. And you'd be surprised, though. I mean, majority of my clients, I can say, are older, and a lot of them, I'll say different words, such as like SEO. Like, okay, what is an SEO? What does that look like? Even when we talk about, the different outlets, because there are so many updated social media outlets that are out there now, and there's more that are continuously being developed. And so, even when I meet with a client or tell them about a new outlet, it's kind of like, what? Well, how do I do this? How do I do that? But I mean, I enjoy it.
So has that always been a passion of yours, working with, as far as with social media and marketing? That's something that just came natural to you?
Well, it's actually something that came natural to me. I wouldn't say that marketing is specifically a passion of mine. However, one of the things that I am interested in is the political field.
Okay.
That's one of my long-term goals, is to become a politician in the federal level, so Congress. With that, and with the business, what I am kind of gearing more towards is I still want to help and assist business owners, because they're the main people that needs the services that I provide. However, I have started to build a clientele list of a few politicians, and with that, that's been giving me experience as it relates to campaigning, developing different content, just different things with that. But marketing as a whole is something that just came along. That came along through some different connections that I've made with some people. And with making those connections, one of the things that I was identifying was that they needed a better presence. I was meeting a lot of people. And when I say a lot of people, I probably go to, several events a week. And that's not even including, school and all of that other stuff.
Wow.
So with that, and meeting those different connections and just seeing the different things that they have, I knew in the back of my mind that what they have going on right now could really be something big. And I felt as if I knew what it would take to get them there. And so with just having that idea in the back of my head, I definitely just went ahead, took a leap on faith, and just went ahead and turned it into a business. And from there, it's just been thriving.
Right. Awesome. So how long have you been operating your business? When did you first start it?
So I officially started my business in 2017, March of 2017.
Okay.
But I've been doing this unofficially for probably since I was about 13, 12.
Wow. So you're what, part of, is it what, Generation Z? Is that the right one?
I believe so. Yeah, I think that's the one we're in now.
Yes,
It's somewhere down the line.
Now, do a lot of your peers have that same entrepreneurial spirit as you?
just from observations from different, my fellow classmates, I can see that a lot of them have more of the entrepreneurial spirit.
Okay.
Not that detailed as I am, as it relates to actually going out, creating a business, accepting clients, getting, monthly payments, the whole nine. But I was actually talking to one of my friends the other day, and she was just talking to me about some of her ideas and things that she wanted to do. And one of my questions was, okay, is this something to where you want to develop your own business with that? And if so, I can help you by doing X, Y, Z. But there's a lot of my classmates that are starting to get those ideas. They're just kind of needing some help as it relates to turning it into something that is viable.
Right. It's great for your generation because you're growing up with really no limitations in terms of with the internet and technology versus previous generations where it has so many limitations. It was hard for them to even imagine having a business where they're dealing with social media and marketing that didn't exist. So yeah, it's a great time to be.
And most definitely, and I tell people all the time, even when I'm at different speaking engagements, especially if I'm speaking to the youth, people around my age, I like to let them know that if there's anything that you're trying to do, whether it be start up a business, get an internship, whatever it may be, even find a mentor. There's so many programs that are out there right now, and Google. I mean, Google is the most creative and awesome invention that there ever was.
Yep.
So, I mean, there's really no limitations. And so one of the things that is kind of frustrating in a way is when you see different people and they're kind of like, oh, well, I can't do it, or what
Yeah.
are my resources? I mean, I know that every resource out there isn't free, but there are a handful of resources that are free. You just have to be committed and you have to actually be in that mindset to go and get it for yourself.
Yeah, you gotta be willing to do the work, dig through all of the thing about it is you can get that information overload. There's so many resources, so much out there. You gotta kind of like weed through what's really for me, especially the free resources, because they're being overshadowed by all of the paid stuff and people marketing and all that. So yeah, but you're right. There's no shortage of resources, and Google is the best place to start. And also, I'm a big fan of YouTube. Man, you can learn how to do anything on YouTube.
Yeah, there's many resources that are out there.
Definitely. So you had mentioned about your aspirations as far as eventually being a congressman. That's phenomenal. So where did those aspirations come from? Were you always interested in politics?
Not really. I've kind of always been more of a person that's outspoken. I can say that, being honest. But going back to when I initially started my high school journey, so back in ninth grade, I took the class political science, and so just kind of learning about different systems and different things that are taking place within the country as a whole, it just kind of opened my eyes up to a lot of things. And so with me having my opinion on certain things, but then, I'm a person, I'll go and I'll research anything. And once I research it, I'm going to continue to find out more information about it. And so with that, that's something to where I was like, okay, there's a lot of things that are happening right now. And a lot of things aren't being done about it, unfortunately. But, I just really think that me getting into that place or to that position, there's a lot of things that I'll be able to do, especially coming from a younger perspective. And then even just with having a business now and being a little more, I guess you could say, mature or on top of my game, there's a lot of issues that I know or that I see people around my age group face on the daily, and things are done about it. So, going back to that whole political science class, that's what kind of stimulated it. And in addition to that, I've been doing, different or been in different leadership roles throughout my school's dating all the way back to fourth grade with student council. So that participating in UIL competitions. So all of that is what kind of contributed and what's starting to build up that political aspiration.
Wow, young prodigy. Go for it. So I'm
Yeah.
always interested in just learning about different perspectives, especially from generational
Mhm.
differences. So you mentioned about what Generation Z your peers are facing on a daily basis. What are some of those things?
I think that one of the because there are many that are currently facing them, but I think the overarching one is the lack of support in a way.
Okay.
Because when I talk to people all the time, they feel like they don't have support, whether it's coming from their family, what it comes from if they supposedly have a friend or someone who they think is their friend. I think just kind of having that support system is something that's lacked within my generation. But then, in addition to that, I think accountability. Um,
Okay.
because a lot of times in my generation, you have a lot of us who are saying, "Oh, we're going to do this, or I'm going to do this, or I'm going to." I have a lot of friends who says this. I'm going to go start a clothing brand, or I want to start, selling this particular product. And so with that, it's like, okay, you start. And then you let something interfere with it, and then you just stop. Um, a lot of people in this generation, to my belief, is that they don't really know how to overcome an obstacle.
Okay.
Obstacle comes their way. It's kind of like, okay, I'm just going to sit here and be done. Or when things don't go their way, it's like, okay, let me not try to find a resolution. Let me just sit here and be mad about it. When it's like, okay, no, obstacles come for a reason.
Right.
When the obstacle is thrown your way, just try to make the best of the situation, find a resolution, keep it pushing. And I think that's accountability is something that plays with that, because if you had a support system or even just an accountability partner who's keeping you up on your toes, who's reminding you about different things, hey, make sure that you're doing this. Have you thought about doing this? Just all of that, I think is what my generation is facing, more of the overarching
Okay.
that we're facing. But there's many things, and you're going to be surprised at when I'm talking to different people about different things that they're going through.
Okay. Wow. Yeah, that's great insight. Certainly valuable. And I think that's a big mistake that just older generations make, older people make, is
Mm-hmm.
they really stuck in just their ways. They're really open to hearing other people's perspectives and younger people. And that's a huge mistake. You really,
Yeah.
everyone's perspective is valuable. So the more people you're able to connect with and understand where they're coming from, you're much better off.
Talking about the older generation, because then too, in turn, if we flip the sides, looking from an older person into a younger generation person who may have something that they want to do or who may not be doing anything, automatically in most older people's mind, they're going to say, well, that's kids lazy, like they don't want to do anything with themselves. Why are they doing this? Why are they doing this? When a lot of times you don't know, coming from a younger perspective, if
Right.
I haven't, like what I said, if you're not having that support system, or if you don't think that you're able to do it, or if you're seeing different things in the media, on Facebook, Instagram, social media outlets as a whole, a lot of those things are major deterrents of success. And a lot of people, like I said, they don't know how to overcome that. And
Right.
so I hate when I hear a person just automatically say that about a person of my generation, say, oh, well, it's lazy. Because, I mean, and don't get me wrong, you do have some that are lazy, they just don't want to do it. But then you also have some that are facing some major things and they just don't know how to overcome some of those challenges, or those are big things that they're struggling with, and they just don't have that right person in their life to give them direction or guidance. So I think if we flip the sides, that's another thing to point out.
Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah, it's just because they're comparing their era to this era. You just can't. It's not the same. And
Yeah.
a good example of that is bullying, for example. So somebody that
Mm-hmm.
grew up, let's say in the '60s, getting bullied is not the same as cyberbullying now. So it's just they can't comprehend. It's different. So what work with handling one bully at your school is not going to necessarily work when you're dealing with Instagram and Facebook and all the other stuff. So yes,
Mm-hmm.
you got to factor that in.
Yeah, especially, I mean, all the updated things that are happening now. I mean, just really just being able and being flexible with the change of the time, the change of the demographics, everything. I mean, it's just different.
It's different. Yep. And if you're not
So
willing to adapt to the change, then you're going to become irrelevant. You're going to become obsolete. So
yeah, most
that's
definitely.
that's the key. Cool. So you mentioned about having a strong support system. What is your support system, or who is your biggest supporter?
I would say my biggest supporter is my mom. She's awesome. Anything that I have going on, whether it be an event, speaking engagement, meetings, whatever it may be, she's always there to lift me up, encourage me, tell me to keep pushing, give me impactful insight, even when I don't want to listen to it all the time. But she has definitely been the one to keep me pushing, even when I felt like, I wasn't doing something that was right, or when I felt like my services or my business was irrelevant. Just having conversations with her has really been something to uplift me. But then, even when talking about my mom, just my whole family in general, my whole family has always been there to say, okay, Kendyll, if this is something that you're doing, we're going to back you 100%. Even if, because I know that some of them know that some of the things that I used to do or that I would try to do or ideas that I had, they knew that it probably wouldn't work, but they were still there to guide me along, provide me support in whatever areas that I needed. But lastly, I want to say my mentors. I have a few mentors, and so they have definitely been instrumental, in addition to my family, in helping me throughout my professional journey, but as well as personal development.
Okay. So for someone out there listening, say they're in high school, or it don't really matter how old they are, but they feel like they don't have that support system. They don't have that family to be supportive, that mom, that family, any of them. They just feel like they're getting their resistance from family and friends, or that they're just not supporting them. What advice would you give them?
One of the things that I would probably say, even if there's someone that's close to you, whether it be a family member, whoever it may be, and you don't feel that they're supporting you to the fullest, you have to, at the end of the day, regardless of if you have a support system, and I know a support system is something that is, that is key. But at the end of the day, even if you don't have a support system, whatever you have, or whatever idea you have in your mind that you're wanting to go and actually pursue is yours.
Yeah.
Theirs. It's not your mom's, it's not your dad's, it's not your cousins, it's not your best friends, it's yours. And so with it being yours, you're going to have to go out and you're going to have to push it and you're going to have to believe it for yourself, regardless of what other people are going to say, because at the end of the day, people are going to continuously talk about you. They're going to look down on you. I've even faced this personally, being a young African-American male, there are many societal things that are placed on you.
With all the stereotypes and all of that.
Yeah, and different stereotypes. But one of the things that you can't do is let those get to you. You have to know that, okay, if I want to become a doctor, even if I don't have a support system, you know what? I'm going to make it work for me, because I know that's want to be my long-term goal. I'm going to go and I'm going to pursue a college education. It may not be the best college that there is, but I'm going to go to a college and I'm going to complete it. I'm going to work through that degree. You just have to be committed and be self-motivated at the end of the day, regardless if you have a support system or not. You have to stay self-motivated and know that if you have an idea and you want it to come to life, you're going to have to push it yourself. And this is something that I always say is, just take the example of a football game. You have cheerleaders, right? And then you have the actual players who are playing the ball game. Okay, even though that the cheerleaders are cheering and they're doing everything that they can, that doesn't mean that the football team is going to automatically win the game. The cheerleaders, or your support system in terms, are there to cheer you on, to guide you on, dip in whenever you need a little help, when they may see some problems and give you some insight. But then from there, it's up to you to actually take that insight, or even when you may not have those cheerleaders, it's up to you to go on, finish the race, and come out on top with victory. So it's all about you, and it's all about being self-motivated, really.
Wow. Great advice. Awesome. So I had the pleasure of meeting you at a networking event, and was certainly
Yes.
blown away by just you're on your game. you're definitely, and I was just blown away by just everything you have going on, and really surprised by your age. How important is networking?
Networking is key to anything that you're going to do. Even if you don't have a business, networking is still important. But networking is something that's going to put you out there, and it's going to help you develop your brand. It's a key to not just marketing, but branding yourself personally. When people think of KD Socialhouse Maintenance, I want them to instantly think of Kendyll Locke, the marketing strategist, the young marketing strategist. When I walk into a room, I want people to automatically know who I am. And that's something that's going to come through you network. But with networking, though, you need to know how to properly do that. You don't go to different events. You don't go and automatically go up to a person and say, okay, well, here's what I provide. Like, I wouldn't go up to a person and say, okay, well, my name is Kendyll Locke, and I provide social media management, and here's what my prices are, X, Y, and Z. No, I go up to a person, hello, how are you? My name is Kendyll Locke. What is your business? I'll kind of get some insight as to what you have going on. And then from there, your question should always be, how can I support you? Mm-hmm. Never start off a conversation, especially at a networking event, with here's what I do, here's my prices, et cetera, et cetera. It's what do you have going on? And then from there, how can I support you? But networking is something that's definitely instrumental in any business, or just in, personal development, just getting yourself out there and making a name for yourself.
Yeah, I totally agree. That's invaluable advice. That's one of my pet peeves. Someone come up to me and just start telling me what they can do for me, and they know nothing about me. They know nothing about my business, but they automatically assume that they know, and assume they have a solution to my problems. But you have to take the time first to know what the problems are before you think you can solve them.
Mm-hmm.
That is truly really good advice. Certainly. As far as like daily habits, I know it's like a lot of successful people have really good daily habits. What are some of your good daily habits?
Well, usually my mornings, they will start at about 6:30 a.m.
Okay.
Get up, I pray, I turn on some gospel music. Most of the time it's gospel music, and I'll listen to that. And from there, I'm going about my day. Most of the times I won't start off actually reading, but I try to at least read for an hour each day. So, and with reading, I don't read anything that's just, off topic, but I try to read something that's going to help me as it relates to the development of myself. So actually right now I'm reading a book that my aunt gifted to me for my birthday, Soar. I'm finishing up that book by T.D. Jakes.
Okay.
And it's an awesome book. I recommend it to anyone. But that's kind of one of my routines, I guess you could say. Waking up, praying, listening to some music, kind of clearing my mind, and then just kind of thinking ahead and thinking about some of those things that I have coming up for that day and for the week.
Gotcha. Okay. Yes, great. I recently started myself doing meditation in the morning, and it's just so important to pray and meditation all the same boat. But yeah, it's really so important to clear your mind and start fresh. So yeah, that's great. I like the fact that you talked about listening to gospel music. I guess not to knock on any other genres, but what's the difference between listening like the impact that listening to gospel music first thing in the morning versus like trap music or rap music first thing in the morning? Just curious what your thoughts are. What's the difference in terms of the impact or how it's starting your day off?
Well, in a way, when I start off my day, I want all positive vibes.
Yeah.
Positive vibes. And I'm not trying to knock and say that, the rap genres or any other genres don't give off positive vibes, because some of them do. But I mean, as we all know, most rap songs include some type of profanity.
Yeah.
And it's going to be talking about things that aren't really going to be beneficial to my development.
Right.
Listen to a gospel song, there's a huge meaning behind the song. So, even just when looking at different lyrics of different words, those are inspirational. And so, listening to that music, it allows me to just kind of clear my mind. But then in addition to that, it allows me to reflect upon some of those words that are being said. And then it just allows me to, like I said, reflect, and it leads to me bettering myself. I don't start off with that rap. I kind of need that gospel to kind of just put me in a different space. That's
Right.
what I need when I first get up in the morning.
Right. Yeah, I totally agree. Certainly want positive vibes. Certainly.
Yeah, all positive vibes.
So I know you said once you graduate high school, you'll have your associate's degree. Have you started thinking about considering some college options where you want to go to school?
Yes, I have. I'm actually planning on going to Howard University in DC.
All right.
So that's my goal. I'll start applying next year. And so that's my main target. That's my first choice. So yeah, Howard.
So why Howard?
Well, Howard, because the environment. I really did. I went down to DC for my birthday. And so one of the things that I wanted to go and experience was Howard, and I just fell in love with it. Did a tour, got to meet some of the students that currently attended the school, and it was just an awesome experience, especially from being an African American kid, and with that being an HBCU. That's one of the things that I kind of connected with, because originally, being honest, I didn't want to go to HBCU, but as I've matured,
Okay.
I felt that it would be more appropriate with different things that I want to do, just learning more about my culture, to attend one of those schools. And so, I mean, even as it relates to me wanting to get into the political field, DC. I mean,
Yeah.
DC is the mecca of
Right. Yeah.
the White House, Capitol Hill. Everything is there. And then I know there's a lot of internship that I can possibly get being down there with, interning for some different politicians at their offices on inside of the Capitol. So, I mean, really just the opportunity. But then in addition to that, just the whole experience, and then just getting outside of Texas.
Right. Okay. That's awesome. Certainly Howard's a great choice. I was curious about what sold you on it. But yeah, definitely being in DC, yeah, that's a no-brainer.
Yeah.
Awesome, great. So other than your business and school, what else are you passionate about or interested in?
Really outside of that, I mean, I would say, and I keep on going back to it, politics. So, during election season, I'll spend more time with my politician clients, going out canvassing, meeting different people in the community, attending community events. So that's kind of outside of the business. What I'll do is just kind of focus on politics. But in addition to that, spending time with my family. And then I also serve on a nonprofit board as the youth board advisor, which is PDG Ministries. And so that's a nonprofit organization that is out in the community, 365 days of the year.
Okay. Wow.
So with the different events that we host, that's another thing that definitely keeps me busy. And then I'm also active within the Fort Worth Tarrant County branch of the NAACP. So I sit on the PR committee. So yeah.
Yeah, a lot going on.
And let's not forget church.
Okay. Can't forget church.
Let's not forget that. Many leadership roles at the church. I attend Corinth Baptist Church in Fort Worth, and so different activities and things that I do there as well.
All right. So how important is faith for you in your just life?
I would say that it's really everything to me. I think that I'm at a point to where I understand that without having that faith factor, a lot of things that I'm blessed with, I wouldn't have. I realize and I recognize that because of my faith level, because of my belief, that I'm able to be open to different opportunities that some young people at my age wouldn't be able to even experience. So that's one of the main things. It's very important to me, and that's something that I don't take lightly at all.
Okay. Awesome. Now, with your school, is it co-ed?
Yes, it is.
All right. I know most 16 or teenagers, period, especially I was at essays too, you struggle with the distraction of the opposite sex. As far as, so how do you balance that, being involved in so much and then also not letting girls be a distraction? How do you balance that?
Really, I mean, I just roll with the flow, telling the truth. I just roll with the flow. If I engage in that or start to build a relationship or catch feelings for someone, and we build a relationship, let them know upfront about the different things that I have going on. And one of the main things that I will always tell someone, and I've even told my best friend this multiple times, it may seem that I'm not giving you attention, but that's something that's not intentional. There's just so many things that I have going on. But I have learned to really balance that to where I can still kind of live out my high school experience, being cool and doing different things with my friends. But then, when it's time, putting on that business hat and getting right in mode and working and producing awesome work for the client. So it's just all about knowing how to have those different switches. I just can't be in, high school student mode, fun Kendyll mode all the time. And that's vice versa for the same with business. I don't want to, when I'm at school talking to a friend or whatever, it's just strictly business. I to know how to kind of unwind, take that stuff off. So it's just all about knowing those different things and those boundaries.
That's good. Yeah, you don't want to be one dimensional, and you certainly want to enjoy your high school experience and everything. But like I say, you still know how to prioritize and switch it up when you need to. So that's great.
And with prioritizing, time management, that's another thing that's very instrumental because with that whole time management thing, that's one thing that has really allowed me to live out both of my experiences. So having the business and then interacting with my friends in high school, college, all of that stuff, because I think without time management, I would be like crazy all the way. But time management has really allowed me to kind of, like you said, prioritize the different things that I have going on. And then it's just helped me to get done with different things in a more efficient way.
Okay. So what's your approach to time management? Do you do like time blocking or just really strict about your calendar? What's your approach?
I do a lot of time blocking, but in addition to that, majority of it comes from my calendar. Like I'm super strict about my calendar. No, I can't fit you in. If I know, that it may not be good for us to meet right now, I'm not going to try to squeeze you into my calendar.
Okay.
Especially, I take a lot of time off. That's something that I'm real serious about. So if I know that I have a paper coming up, if I know that I have, a big college report, whatever the case may be, I definitely work that into my calendar. But I work everything into my calendar. So as it relates to school, I have that on my calendar. I have how long it's going to take me to do homework. I have, have different times blocked into my schedule to where, I'm not doing this. And then even like I'm actually tomorrow I'll be shutting down my business for a couple of weeks. And so during that time, I won't be doing anything as it relates to my business. That's time that's going to be for self-care time, for kind of a recharge time to get back in the game. I think that's one of the things that when you talk about time management, and then just as it relates to time blocking your calendar and everything, when you take those different times off, make sure that you're actually taking them for yourself. So don't be taking them off or taking those times just so you can catch up, which sometimes that's needed. But you have to know that you can't stress yourself out to that point. You can't overexert yourself. You have to know when to take time for yourself.
That is so critical. Certainly have to. Otherwise, it's going to burn out eventually.
Yeah.
So whenever you're going through, let's say, hard times, whether it's in your business or life, stress, how do you handle that? What keeps you motivated and inspired?
One of the things that I could say is a real big motivator is that regardless of whatever I'm encountering, so an obstacle, whatever it may be, I just always keep in the back of my mind that I know that with me doing this at such a young age, in the long run, it's going to be so inspirational, so encouraging to many people. And so I know that if I can continue to keep my foot in the game, if I can continue to do the things that I'm doing now, I'll have a story to tell, when I'm, 40 years old, 50 years old, whatever the case may be, to where I can reach back into those youth or back into, even some of those adults that feel like they can't, they're too old to go back to school. They're too old to start a new career, whatever the case may be. I can let them know, no, this is something that I've been doing since age, 14. Even though you will encounter the obstacles, it's just all about learning how to deal with them. And I think that's one of the things that over the years, I have adapted to. And not saying that I'm just sitting around waiting for an obstacle to come, but I'm prepared.
Yeah.
I wake up and I'm kind of like, okay, I'm prepared for my day. What do you got? That's coming my way. Okay, I already, in a way, know how I'm going to deal with it. And sometimes I can kind of, already infer, some obstacles that may come, with different steps and that I may take within the business or different things that I may do. I may know that it'll be a little risky, but I never want to be the person to say that, or to say, what if I never did it?
Yeah, a regret.
If, I never want to hold any regret. So I think that's just the main thing, just being self-motivated, and then just knowing that, my whole story in general is going to be encouraging one day to someone.
Definitely. Yeah, your big why, your purpose, just almost successful people I talk to. Yeah, it's not really about them. They're doing it like for that same reason. They want to inspire others, impact people.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's certain. So you're certainly doing that. I'm inspired by it. Yes, I know some other people
I
are.
appreciate it.
So definitely keep doing what you're doing.
Yes, sir.
We certainly appreciate you taking time out of your busy calendar to stop by and give us some of that wisdom that you're developing, and you continue to grow. And we're looking forward to seeing just all the incredible things you do. 20 years from now, you're president, can say, oh, yeah, I remember that guy. I interviewed him on the Mentor Select podcast. I'm excited to see how far you go. I know you can do great things. But Kendyll, how can people get in contact with you?
People can get in contact with me on my website, www.KD Socialhouse Maintenance.com. In addition to that, you can find me on Facebook, Kendyll Locke. You can also search my business page, which is KD Socialhouse Maintenance, and that's across all platforms: LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. I'm really anywhere. So you can either type in my name, Kendyll Locke, or just search KD Socialhouse Maintenance. Also, my website has my social links, as well as my contact information, email, number.
Awesome. And I'll be sure to put all that in the show notes, so they'll have it. But yeah, thanks again. We really appreciate it. I know that people listening, they're going to be inspired and get some really good tips as far as how to bring their ideas to fruition and find that balance in their life. So yeah, we really appreciate it.
I appreciate you. Thank you for the opportunity. And I wish you continued success with the whole podcast, as well as just with the whole Mentor Select program and as a whole.
Thank you, sir.
Wow, what a phenomenal interview with Kendyll. He is truly an impressive young man. And I'm sure a lot of you all are thinking what I'm thinking is, man, I wish I was that mature and disciplined and had that vision at his age. But hey, it's all part of the process. We all have to run our own race. But certainly Kendyll is off to a head start. And with the support of his family, mother, and community and mentors,
I'm sure he's going to continue to inspire young and old people. I'm looking forward to seeing him be president one day. So hope you all enjoyed that interview with Kendyll. Certainly be sure to check him out on social media and his website. I'll include all that information in the show notes. Also, just let the young man know what resonated with you about this interview, and just support him. Our youth certainly need that support, and a lot of times the youth get a bad rap, and as far as being lazy or whatever the stereotypes or misconceptions may be, but Kendyll is a shining example of a young man who's headed places, who was determined to change the world. So it's not every day we encounter people like that, no matter what age. So be sure to support him, reach out to him, let him know, hey, what you like about his interview, and just let him know that, hey, you're listening and you really are there to see him continue to shine. I was really impressed by Kendyll, and I'm looking forward to this Friday. I'll get an opportunity to speak at Kendyll School for their Black History celebration. So I'm truly honored by that opportunity. It's going to be a lot of fun. If you have not had a chance to like, subscribe, or review the Mentor Select podcast on iTunes, please do so. Also share this interview with your friends and family, anyone you feel who can benefit from this quality virtual mentorship that was provided today and all the other episodes that I've released. We really appreciate our guest mentors. Couldn't do it without them. And they're helping the Mentor Select community continue to grow and just make an impact on the world. So that's what it's all about. Well, I'll be back next week. Be sure to tune in. Thanks.
Thanks so much for listening to this episode of the Mentor Select podcast, helping you identify and follow your passions. For more great content and to stay up to date, visit mentorselect.com and Mentor Select on social media. If you enjoyed today's episode, please rate and review. We'll catch you next time.